Hi, this is a short video just replacing our usual curriculum meetings that we'd have, where ordinarily we'd invite parents in just to come and discuss what we're going to be learning this term and our routines.
So in puzzle class for this term, we have Mrs. Shepherd, who will be the class teacher Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, myself, Miss Alexander, and I'll be teaching in here on Thursday and Friday, Mrs. Blythe, who is our class LSA and our lunchtime MSA, and Miss Burke, who will be doing our planning cover on a Tuesday.
So routines. So as you know quite well now already, the children in Year 5 come into school via the Tots Gate onto the Key Stage 2 playground in the morning, and that's where they're collected from at the end of the day also. Just a reminder, please, that if anyone in Year 5 is being collected by an adult that's not on the collection list, that you need to let the office know on that day of any changes. So that includes if they've got a play date or a friend picking them up for the day.
So just some of our new routines that we have in place. So hand washing. So the children are hand washing on entry to school, before and after a snack, before and after lunch, and before home time, after coughing and sneezing, or after toilet use. We also have introduced using antibac gel just to cut down on some of our learning time. So the children will antibac their hands on entry into school before hand washing. That just helps to settle them in with our morning routine. Before and after a break, if they've had no snack, after the mile run, before and after mile run, any outside activities such as PE, and as needed, for example, if we're changing reading books or the children are choosing books within the classroom.
Okay, so this picture in the middle here shows how we've got the classroom set up now. So as you already know, the children are sat in pairs facing the front. We've really limited how much they're sharing in the way of resources. So each of the children has got a bag, which is like a wipeable bag, and in it there is a plastic wallet with all their stationery, their whiteboards, their books and other resources that they might need. And then we do have some resources that they are sharing just with their partner for the week. So things like a dictionary, coloured pencils, and the cards that we use in maths. And then any resources that they are sharing are cleaned regularly after each use. We also have a very thorough cleaning rota that we're using at the moment. So the tables are cleaned every morning when the teachers get to school, we clean them down. They're also cleaned before and after lunch if the children are eating in their classrooms. There's also regular cleaning of the toilets and any communal areas. And obviously we're just making sure we're adhering to the social distancing.
So for PE, the children will need PE kits on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are our PE days for the autumn term. Children should come into this school in their PE kit with their usual house colour t-shirt, black shorts or black bottoms, plain jumper and trainers. As it is getting colder, we would recommend that children are coming in joggers or leggings for the colder days, and they can wear a plain jumper of their choice or sweatshirt. We will be outside where possible, so it's really important that they have that warm clothing available to them.
Okay, so we've had a few teething problems with the Google Classroom, but hopefully that's now been resolved. So the children will be able to access the Google Classroom for their home learning. So that is now going to be shared via Google Classrooms, that we're not sending paper copies home. The children then can complete their learning and then email it to us or submit it on the classroom. There's still opportunities for them to make models and things like that. So if it's something like that, we ask that they take a photo of it, and then if they share that on the classroom, and then we can share that with everybody. There's another folder on the Google Classroom which is for self-isolation and distance learning. So that, as the name suggests, is just if the children are not able to come into school, if they have any of the symptoms or waiting for a test or someone in their family. So that's updated on a weekly basis. So we're making sure that there's writing, maths, and then other tasks relating to our theme work. And the children again can submit that onto the classroom. So it's very similar to when school was closed at the end of last year. The only difference being, previously, obviously the teachers would email back and give the children feedback straight away, but because we're going to be teaching in school, we won't be able to do that, but we will just give the children feedback when they return to school.
Trips, unfortunately, we will be unable to take the children on any school trips for this term. As soon as we are able to, we will resume our normal practice for this.
Okay, so maths. So we're doing lots of fluency in maths, continuing as we were last year. So the children are doing that daily, where we're recapping and pre-teaching lots of the skills that they're going to need. This includes lots of gaming. So again, this will be familiar from when school was closed. We were setting lots of games to play. So we are making sure that we're doing lots of that at the moment in class as well.
So at the moment we are doing Back on Track Maths. So we're following the recovery curriculum for maths based on Hart's Maths Essentials. And what we are trying to do is to fill the gaps of any of the learning that was missed while school was closed, as well as teaching the current year of mathematics.
Okay, and spelling as well. So again, we're following quite a robust spelling program. So the children are having 4 sessions a week. We're making links back to the year 3-4 spellings, as well as moving on to the list that you can see there for year 5 and 6. It's worth noting actually that these documents that you've seen on here, including the spelling list, we have put onto the Google Classroom for you to access.
So just some examples of our spelling lessons. So often we are initially starting with a revisit from a previous spelling rule or I guess so phonetic stage, previously learnt in the lower years. Every day the children get an opportunity to do another aspect of the spelling. So we would teach first and then, so revisit and then teach, and then that works towards the children being able to apply the skill. And then spelling is something that we're looking for during their, in their writing books, and to see how those lessons are impacting positively on the children's spelling.
So here is just an example of something we did the last couple of weeks, where we were focusing on plurals. So we were looking at the rules for that, and then the children were then in the following lesson given the opportunity to practice and apply, and then we always finish the sequence with some dictation as well.
So reading expectations is daily in school, 15 minutes. So we have our own well-stocked class library. These books are available to the children, and we have a colouring system of a green, yellow and red. These texts will follow age-related texts, which we encourage the children to be reading. Mrs. Shepherd and I will also check that the child is reading a book that is appropriate for their reading level, or if we feel that the child needs some challenging, for them to try a book on a higher level. In terms of that, that's just their class book. We still expect children to be reading with an adult 5 times per week. It's really important that at home, it might not necessarily be the book they're reading at school. They could be reading their book of choice, but they are reading an additional book. And reading with an adult, we try at minimum once per week. But for those children that are still on band scheme, they will read daily, or we have some children who might read more as well, 3 to 5 times a week with an adult. Upcoming, we've got our reading conversations, which is an opportunity for myself and Mrs. Shepherd to read with the children, to check where they're reading, how their reading fluency is going and their understanding of comprehension. This is also an opportunity for us to see where their interests lie. If they're reluctant readers, then we can encourage them to read. They might be interested in some particular authors. Also, it's another opportunity for us to look through their reading journal in more depth, and have the child talk us through the activities they've been completing. They have a regular opportunity to change books, and we also have a red card system. So if a child gets halfway through a book and they decide that actually this book they're not really enjoying this book, or they're not feeling like they're engaging with it, they are allowed to red card the book, but they only get one red card per term.
Okay, so in terms of the teaching of reading, we have 3 weekly whole class lessons. So it's structured the same way each week. So the first session is to do with building up their vocabulary. So we have an extract from a text that we're going to focus on for that week. We will draw out the words that perhaps are a bit trickier, they won't be so sure of, and the children look those words up in a dictionary, so they can define the words, and then we'll discuss that together. The second session is all about reading out loud and performance. So that involves us, the teachers, modelling reading the text with the correct intonation and expression, and then the children do what's called echo reading. So we'll read a sentence, the children will read it back using the correct expression. And then the third session of the week focuses on comprehension skills and their understanding of the text. We also have a class reader, which at the moment the children may have spoken about at home, is called Treason. So it fits in with our theme learning about the Tudors. So that's something that we just read together as a class at the end of the day, just for enjoyment. And obviously, we encourage you as parents to read to the children as well. So in the previous slide, when it said the children reading daily at home, some of that can include you reading to them as well.
So reading journals and puzzle class, we will be sharing them weekly on a Wednesday. If they are not completed, the children will be given until Thursday to complete them. And if they're not completed by that the following Thursday, they may be asked to complete during a lunchtime. It's important to note that we can't share reading journals in the way that we were used to before. So as the class teachers, we just have a rota for the children to share to the whole class, but everyone has an opportunity to share with their reading partner or the person they're sitting next to for that week as well.
Okay, so here's our curriculum map. I appreciate that's a bit too small there on the screen to read, but that just outlines what we're going to be covering in each subject this term. So this has also been uploaded onto the Google Classroom for you to have a closer look.
Knowledge organisers. So we've made 3 knowledge organisers of what we'll be covering over our science, our geography and our history topic. The children have access to this in the classroom. So when we are teaching these subjects, we might have key vocabulary in there, or significant people, or it might be timeline for history. So something that they can use as a learning resource while we're teaching these topics.
And these have also been uploaded onto the Google Classroom for you to see. Okay, so just in terms of dates, not many at the moment, but just to say that Parents' Evening are going to take place the week beginning the 23rd of November. So that's going to be a little bit different now because of the restrictions that we have. So our consultation is going to happen over a Google Meet or over telephone, but you'll be contacted by the school office nearer to the time with more details about that.
And we've just finished with our contact email addresses. So if anything concerning absences or appointments or general inquiries, they can go to the admin at leavesden.education. If you'd like to contact myself and Mrs. Shepherd, our email addresses are below. Just note that on the days that Mrs. Shepherd doesn't work, if you could please email me if it is urgent or relating to that day. So that's on a Thursday and a Friday. Otherwise, we both should be able to respond to your emails. And just another note, we are unable to respond to emails during class time as we are teaching. So we will do our best to try and respond to you either during break time or before or after school.